migration to continue at these levels. Like, it's disgusting. Like, I see them walking around with their little hijabs, and I'm just like, gross. You're in a Western country,
I think they're gonna have a civil, like, not, well, I would say Europe's probably gonna have wide scale, like, civil unrest, and it will lead to a lot of violence, like, sometime in the future. Those two populations, the Muslim population there and the Europeans, are not gonna, neither of them are going to be able to get along with each other or feel like they can exist under the other's rule.
What mother? Why do you care if someone's wearing a hijab? As long as they're not doing anything, why do you care?
it's a hijab. They're not assimilating to Western cultures and Western values. You move to a Western nation, right? If you want to continue your little terrorist mindset, you should stay in the Middle East.
In America, there should be one distinction. Just like head coverings for super traditional Catholic women, that stuff is seen as as expression. And so, while we can express our points of view about it, there'll never be a time where we'll outlaw wearing of the hijab because it's a symbol of religion.
Maybe not here, but the problem is, though, is that Palmyra knows. I tell this to all the Muslims I talk to, but I think they should literally be expelled from Europe. I don't think they belong there whatsoever. I think it's an invasion.
Try it.
I know. I think that's what's going to happen. You guys think you belong. Hold on a second. I think that, see, like he's saying, try it. And that is going to be the sentiment of the Muslims that are there.
They tried.
1930. Yeah. Well, in 1492, they ended up chopping your fucking heads off, and then you ended up having to flee back to North Africa.
Yeah. We will destroy Nazis.
The Muslims are good at
We're Nazis? I know.
What do you think of the law in France? And now, what was the country? Was it Finland or Denmark? One of them.
I think it's great.
You could wear your hijab.
Yeah, but you can't wear a burqa. You can't wear the full. I mean, that's what Sarkozy
The full
put in
covering is called
France.
a niqab.
Yeah, but it's
But
Sarkozy. It came in France. So understanding this, it came in France under Sarkozy, but under a nationalist law that like no one, like in these government public places, any form of covering. So I think it wasn't. It's under a French like patriotic law, which by the way could affect Sikhs. Other religions that have
Nuns.
Even though they're
it does, right? In France, doesn't it?
Yeah, they did, but look, even if they're Sikhs, which I understand they're not really, they don't seek to conquer people or fuck with people, I still think that these are specific ethnic groups that live there in Europe. It's like they're one piece of land for them, and it should not be for a bunch of foreign invaders with a hostile religion to dictate that they have to share the land with them and grow accustomed to their religion.
I think you actually have to blame that on the governments. The governments in Europe took all of these people in.
No, I know. Now the people have to. Yeah, now the people are going to have to live with kicking them out.
But at least, to Abby's point, at least in the French circumstance, French secularism is completely different than U.S. secularism in explicitly religious expression. In France, regardless of whether you're a Christian, Jew, or Muslim, you're not allowed to outwardly show your religion. Or at least that's how I understand it. Versus America, they say outwardly show your religion. You can't do crazy shit. If you do, we'll tell you you can't. But you can do the base expression. I mean, that tends to be the key difference between Europeans and Americans when it comes to when it comes to religious expression of Muslims. In France, the secularism is just simply different than the secularism in the United States.
I don't think it's with Islam alone, Marshall. In France, they're kind of like they don't have freedom of religion.
Yeah, it's secular for every religion. Like Christians, you're not allowed to wear a Christian cross outwardly on your shirt.
Yeah, they're pretty much, they have a limit amount of how much religion you can even, like, Like, they don't have the same freedom of religion as we do.
Yeah, versus, right, you look at France versus the United States Established Clause and Free Exercise Clause in the First Amendment, that is completely different from the way the Europeans act, and I think it's completely different from the way the UK system functions. So we just have a different system in that way. I would say we are in one circumstance very lucky about our mass migration. What I mean by that is a lot of the people are Central and South American, and regardless of what you think of Central and South Americans, they speak Spanish, and they're largely Catholic, which fits into the Southwest United States. Granted, if you move to New England or the Midwest or the Northwest, you're gonna have some trouble. But if you move someplace in the Southwest, the culture is relatively similar. Versus
That's the reason why.
just give me 2 seconds. I was just gonna say versus taking somebody from say Saudi Arabia, where the culture and language and religion are completely different.
Well, that's why there's a few people who talk about this, like professors and stuff. But when you look at all the markings of what could be like civil unrest or civil war, in Europe, it's they would be a lot more likely to experience it before us, just because of mainly because of the Muslim population. That's just inherently hostile to Europeans.
You mean in particular because the Europeans are not requiring them to move in, right?
No, they're just not. No, I'd look at it entirely differently. There are people that cannot fit in. You'd have to have almost a Soviet-style system, in my opinion, or like what the Chinese are doing to the Uyghurs. You have to completely strip them from their religion.
Pepe, what makes you think you are more American than Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali?
What does that have to do with a Muslim
Well,
living in
after
France?
the question, Islam is not new for America. What makes you think you're more
I'm talking
American?
about Europe.
Answer my question. What makes you think you're more American?
He's not talking about America. He's talking about Western
He's talking about America too. You've been talking about America.
The conversation he and I were just having is specifically about Europe. Please.
Come on, y'all are acting dense.
Muslims are like maybe 1% of. Muslims are like maybe 1% of our population in the U.S. They're not a.
Islam is not new for U.S.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's only 2% of the population for the
And mother,
US.
let me tell Pamiri, even in the 70s and 80s, a lot of Muslims were causing trouble in America. My dad was one of them. Listen, my dad, my fucking person, I'm talking about my own life, right? My own dad was one of them. Seriously, in Texas, they were constantly trying to have protests where white nationalists were protesting. Now, I'm not saying what white nationalists were doing was correct, but my dad wasn't even American, or even, they were here with student visas and work visas and stuff, and just constantly trying to fight, and then doing all these, I don't know, crazy things. So Muslims are not really that quiet of people nowhere in the world, so I don't know why you want to act as if Muslims are nice people and Islam is very soft and cute.
Well, I would say this. So you brought up two American men, that were born that converted, which is kind of a whole different story. Now, do I think that was America ever meant to have immigrants come from the Middle East? The answer is no.
Of course, go to history. We don't know.
Yes. Do you want to go to history?
Yeah. So
Okay. What was our first immigration? What was our first immigration law? Who did it say that could come here?
Who is the immigrant?
And how did it remain until
Define
1965?
Define the immigrant.
Somebody who comes from a foreign country. Now, where did it say the immigrants could come from?
This country built by immigrants. And
Yes, from 1790 until 1965. Okay, 200 years of history, almost 200 years. Where were these immigrants allowed to come from? There's only one correct answer.
Is that really a fair analysis? Because isn't this also a period where America had slaves, so we try to do that again?
No, well, they weren't citizens. They didn't immigrate.
oh, they deserve to be slaves.
No, you didn't have African immigration.
Listen, you're not Native American, you should not talk about immigrants.
Oh, but no, actually, do you know who America only exists, the name exists, the country exists because there were Europeans that came here. They colonized it, then they ended up having a revolt, and they formed the United States of America, and they're the ones who created the country. People don't come here for the fucking land, which that's all the Native Americans had. They come here for the country and what was built on top of the land. And so that's what you come here for. And that is literally European American creation.
I did what other Americans did just 300 years before me.
Oh, you did?
They came to this land, I came to this land. What's wrong?
You're not white.
I don't care.
First
First of all, you don't know what's white and black. Second of all, you got
to me, he's white.
No, I don't care. I'm not. I'm not paranoid about white and black. It's not. That's not the point. The point is that we have a First Amendment and we have immigrants by the American law.
Not all immigrants are the same, though. Like, some of you are third world trash, and you have a mud religion called Islam. And I actually,
That's not a fact.
I do not like you people coming to my country. I think you're inferior to Europeans, and I think your religion is absolutely inferior to Christianity. You're a group of people that I think are, you're just going to be the cause of rot in our country.
Okay, I think you're wrong. So what?
Well, people like me vote, and people like me, I don't know if you're here on if you even got your citizenship yet, but people like me would love to see you, your family, everybody get ripped out by their fucking hair, handcuffed, and put on a fucking plane out of the country.
And you are just living in a la la land, and it will never happen.
Oh, it's already kind of starting to happen.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt y'all or nothing, but happy fucking 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th of July, Papa.
Happy fucking 4th, man. What's up, Marshall? What's up, Matt? Let's go, bro. Yeah,
You know what I ran across? I was going through my Hulu today, and I ran across Hamilton play. It was said to be the best American play written in the last, 35 years.
I can fucking feel it. I can fucking feel it. I can see that.
I am so happy. It is our birthday today. 249. Wait a year, the 250th is gonna be off the fucking chain, dude.
But I had a fucking double cheeseburger fresh off the fucking grill. I didn't even let it cool off. That's how American I'm telling you right now. You let the shit cool off, went straight to the plate. I'm telling you, man.
So, man, what's your favorite part about 4th of July aside, hamburger and fireworks?
Shit. Oh, man.
I said, what's your favorite part of the 4th of July besides the hamburgers, beer, and fireworks?
Shit, I mean family, bro. You gotta be around family, bro.
Family, friends,
Gotta love the family, friends, shit, just enjoying, just enjoying America, man. Shit,
Dude, I feel that.
Can I tell you the best July 4th I had last year?
Yes,
For sure.
I was in Philly, and I went to Independence Hall, the Museum of the Revolutionary War, and the Constitution Center, and the Liberty Bell. And you want to see a perfect July 4th, you go do that. And touch base with what it is in the first place.
That sounds very historic right there.
It was great. Plus, your tax dollars are paying for all these ghosts and tour guides to take you around Independence Hall, and it's free, and it's really, really great to do.
You know, one thing that us as Americans take for granted, the fucking air conditioning, good quality air conditioning. This air conditioning in Italy, the hotel I'm at, is horrendous. I'm like,
It is true. I fucking love AC unit.
That is the absolute truth. AC is just wonderful.
no, and then I was coming from Amsterdam, right? Because I'm doing this whole little Euro tour. They don't even have ACs in some buildings. They just don't have it. It doesn't exist in 80% of them.
Isn't that because the climate is such that you don't often need AC?
They get one hot day a year, and they just suffer through it, or two.
Did anybody notice what Kiko said in chat? Kiko said that she cannot wait until Iran bombs us. I'm not sure if you understand what happened to Japan, But if you want that to happen in Iran, then we can really make that happen. It sounds great for our 250th birthday.
And let me drop some
Piece of shit.
America's kind of overdigging for another 9/11 attack. And this is
Yes.
when people
And
hate.
let me drop some knowledge on old Kiko there. Hey Kiko, do you know what a satellite missile defense system is, huh? You know there's only 2 people on this world with one, and the person that fucking produced it and sold it to the other person is us. We fucking sold it to Russia for some fucking money. And the thing is, we gave them the old motherfucker. We got the new motherfucker. That means basically anything that gets shot even close to this hemisphere is getting shot down. We already know about it. It's gonna show up on the fucking screen. That's why we have a fucking airspace defense system that is fucking to the that's fucking 100% awesome. And they shoot down anything that even gets over the fucking ocean. It's going right back into the ocean. So if you want to shoot some shit, you might blow up a couple of fishes, a few whales, but you're not gonna blow up no fucking United States, bro. Not no time soon, bro. We spend all our tax dollars on one fucking thing, and that's the military, bro. And that's for a reason, because it keeps us good. We don't have to worry about no fuckers shooting no damn missiles over here, or nobody trying to fucking attack us, bro. That is death. You attack us, it's basically like you're basically just fucking suicide for yourself. I ain't gonna lie, you and your family.
The ninja said that none of us have served, but he fails to realize that a drone is the exact same thing as playing GTA 5, so we have just enough experience to drop some bombs on your phone.
Oh yeah, it's fucking video game.
So I will say that, I mean, I won't say agree with Papa, but I think we have to be honest, like, America's current defense systems are not ready for hypersonic missiles. Nobody has a defense capability to
No, they're
knock those out.
100% right about that.
And even the US military has admitted that they are behind.
Luckily, China is not shooting hypersonic missiles at us. We're talking about Iran in this
I'm
instance.
gonna hit y'all with this though. I'm gonna hit y'all with this from actual knowledge. The military only drops probably 30 years of knowledge on you, plus 30 years now. So basically, what we know of the military is 1990. We don't know nothing yet of what they got now. You gotta think about it. Before you find out what the military has, is 30 years above whatever you find out. So we're still stuck in the 90s of knowledge of what the military really has. They're not gonna tell nobody, hey, we can defend hypersonic missiles. Fuck no, that means that they fucking, you gonna see if they're gonna try to shoot that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Plus, they're not even gonna try to do that, bro. Because just believe me, if they think that the United States couldn't defend themselves against that, they would already shot the shit, bro. They would have been did it. They would have been did it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
We still.
That's where you were at the club?
I went to Target, actually.
I think Kiko needs to come up here and explain himself, come up here to the stage and actually talk and speak and, say something.
Especially when he's talking about China being aggressive, which is odd. In 10,000 years, China has never invaded a single country. It's weird.
Fucking China? It's the last thing I'm fucking with.
They've never acted aggressive once against a single country in 10,000 years. Maybe their neighbors where they have like vassals, but they've never invaded another country. That's the craziest thing to think that China's going to attack.
China's not interested in like getting involved in conflicts. Like it's the
Yeah,
very
sure.
ones where like
Yeah, for 10,000 years, it's not been interested.
You let me tell you.
Same Iran.
China's China's aircraft carriers can't even fucking leave the fucking border of China. You know that, right? Their aircraft carriers can only sit around there.
Maybe they have an old Russian carrier, which is a
Old Russian.
Yeah.
So they gotta stay close to the airfaces.
Well, they built a new one called the Lyon, and it's either it's either to be finished shortly or it was finished in the last like 6 months or so. But either way, they don't project power out past which is like where Japan is. They tend to project power into the South China Sea and their surrounding environs. Don't get me wrong, they're supposed to have a blue water navy, meaning can circumnavigate the globe by between 29 and 2040. So I would expect the 2030s to be a little bumpier in terms of like Chinese extending their reach. I'd be willing to bet that in the 2030s, you're going to see the Chinese expand their reach navally past the first island chain where Japan is and into the Pacific proper. And that, like, you do that, then you get to 2040, and the Chinese Navy will probably be able to circumnavigate the globe. I don't like the issue here is Africa. Not like Africa a problem, but like the Chinese have developed into Africa, and one of the ways they've done done this is by building roads, trains, that kind of stuff.
They control.
Yeah.
They control those ports.
Kiko, let's hear from Kiko. He's here to talk for it.
Yeah. Hey, Kiko, what's up, man?
Hey, Marshall, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Like, so what's going on? Why you think Iran's gonna bomb America?
I don't think Iran is going to bomb America. I think Trump is going to invade Iran. He's going to get hundreds of thousands of troops stuck there. There's going to be a stalemate, and then bombs will fly. I feel like you guys have a lot of hubris, and a lot of great powers fall because of hubris. They think that they're invincible, they're too big to fail. Like this other gentleman was saying that other countries don't have the capabilities to send hypersonic missiles our way. Like America's the only country that has that technology and has that knowledge. I feel like America, the empire is going to be falling very, very soon. And I feel like it's going to be because of hubris, because of stuff that you guys are saying right
Kiko,
now.
where are you from?
I'm actually from the DMV area.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know what most advanced technological warfare machine produced right now?
Well, I'm not a military. I'm not a military guy. All
You know,
I'm gonna say is just because America has technology doesn't mean it's the only one that has that technology.
I'm asking you, what's the most advanced technological warfare machine built right now? You know, something that was built. You know, it was something that was built 30 years ago, right? The F-22, the Raptor. It's the most advanced technological thing built in the past 30 years. You know that, right? That's why we haven't sold that to nobody. That's why nobody else has that. Only person close to ever making something that can get 50% to that, I think, is with Russia, with the not the F-30,
I like a lot.
not the F-8, but it's something like the F-7 or some shit like that. That's just close. That's like 50%.
Yeah, but Marshall
Of what the fucking F-22 can
tends
do, bro.
to align with what I think.
You get what I'm saying, bro? Like, come on, fam. Technology-wise, bro, in war and anything military-wise, USA is so far advanced, bro. That's where all of our tax dollars go to.
I know.
Don't believe in the propaganda.
That's why our tax dollars go to Taliban every week, and we leave them a lot of weapons.
Yeah, you see.
Okay, hold on, Kiko, hold on, Kiko.
I don't think
Kiko,
America is the only country that has that.
can you guys hear me, or he just pretends he doesn't hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Woman speaking.
Okay, good. Amiri, I just want to say, like, I mean, this room, you can say whatever you want, but we do fact check people. So stop just with, lies after lies, because I honestly don't want to, like, interrupt the room and just correct you every single time that you say something. But Taliban does not like IRGC. And I'm pretty sure, shut the fuck up.
Happy Juneteenth, guys.
Are they
Happy
better?
Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
And I'm pretty sure people remember a few years ago when Mahsa Amini happened, Taliban, those fucking murderous people, they told IRGC to be nicer
Not
to
the real end.
your
You're
women.
going in a ring.
Okay, so pay them more.
I don't think the answer is to give money. Mary, no offense to you.
We don't give them money.
You're saying we should pay them. I'm saying I don't think that's the solution to the problem is paying these people.
No, I know it's not the solution. I'm just stating what we're doing, how much money
Pablo
we
Escobar, Plomo Plata. Which one you fucking want?
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If you haven't met our president, he's not paying nobody shit. He's gonna send you a bomb before he pays some shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just want you to really recognize that.
Yeah, but he's
Nor
only
will
4 years.
Nor
He
will
will
our
be
Senate
gone.
Foreign Relations Committee
They're not
send
paying
in the
nobody
money
shit.
either. Talk to Tom Cotton and Lindsey Graham. Money's not going.
They're gonna send you to the. They're gonna send you like 5 different phone calls before you reach somebody to actually have a conversation with you about any money, and they're still gonna hang up in your face. It's still bombing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did with Iran. We were on the phone with them, talking to them like with a peace deal, and then we bombed them with 6 MOABs at the same time. Amazing stuff. They call it the greatest trick that's ever happened.
And then too, Kiko, did you not know that the B-2 bomber literally bombed Iran with China and Russian radar systems? Bombed Iran trip before they even knew who the fuck did it. You know that, right?
And you know what else is crazy is that in Missouri, we saw those bombers fly off and head east, and we knew they were heading to Iran, and not a single person in Missouri said shit. Nobody posted on it. Nobody said, "Hey, it's coming." We all sat there silently and said, "Oh, okay."
It's on, no,
How
it's on
many
the
of
internet.
them were used in Afghanistan? What's the result?
And we could tell because of the what was being shown publicly on the live flight maps were the KC air tankers, which were flying along the path with them, because they had to refuel multiple times, and so we could tell it was heading towards Guam, and then it was obvious where it was probably going to go after that.
Yeah, they said it headed to Guam, and Guam is west, and we were like, "Oh, that's not going to Guam."
And then I'm gonna drop another one on you. You know, the fucking response from Iran to send those bombs over to Qatar, to our fucking base. You know, 49, 20, 19 to 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds fought off all of those bombs, bro. There's only 49 of them, bro.
Have you seen the video of those Marines sitting in the base too, cheering, like hollering and partying? It's just like,
oh shit,
their videos, and they're all screaming in Iran.
They're like, oh shit, that's one of ours. And then you see all these bitches just blowing the fuck up in the sky. They're like, hey, look at that.
You were down for
partying. Yeah, drinking and shit. We literally stopped somebody from attacking us over fucking drinking. They were all drinking and partying. Literally. Like, it was a fucking party. And you're talking about fucking, man, nobody worried about all that shit, China. China should be fucking scared of the fact that how the fuck can your fucking radar systems not detect fucking 7 B-2 bombers carrying all that pounds of fucking ammunition, all that fucking pounds of fucking bombs.
Do we know that
they come back?
Hey, Papa, one Chinese,
they would have had to fight off like 5th generation fighter
one
jets.
Chinese
Like, what could they do
went
about it?
all across the U.S.
They
and
didn't
you
know.
couldn't
I
shut it
promise
down.
you. They didn't know.
It's better for them to say they didn't know than to send out fighter jets of their 6th generation and lose in a dogfight.
And then, I mean, you know, because you know we have people. I don't know exactly how I can explain, but you know they have people that's actually in other countries that work for the U.S. It's just not, you know, kind of like with some spy shit that people wouldn't even know. It's kind of like, you know, basically you implement it into a governmental system and you're there to basically spy, pretty much give back information. They really did not know anything that happened. Probably 13 hours, they didn't know shit. Until fucking they look up, oh, well, fucking U.S. did it. I think Trump has said something. That's how they figure out who did it.
B-2 stealth bomber is also a high-altitude bomber, but
Same as
basically it's
Mossad being inside Iran, all inside Iran for years. Yeah, totally same thing.
Swiss cheese.
And then, do you know what
Israelis
started
love
that?
spying.
Did you know what started that Israeli and Iran beef, bro? Fucking Israel was trying to assassinate one of the fucking scientists inside of the nuclear chamber, trying to build some new technology. That's what started all that shit. That's why hence we came in there and bombed the fucking nuclear.
They already killed them. They killed several scientists and some of the leaders. They got into a bogus meeting on one location, and they bombed the whole meeting. So that already happened.
And I know we try to disconnect ourselves as America, but we did kill some of them.
How many days was Israel on the ground taking out their air? It took out 60% of their air defense.
Something like a week, Abby, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
It wasn't
The scientists were the first ones to get up.
And Israel
Israel really didn't need our help. We just took out Iran's nuclear system because nobody knew what the fuck they had.
Israel,
That was just the
they
problem.
couldn't.
Is that confirmed?
They didn't
They
even
had a lot more foreign
That's
help
not,
than you
that's not
think.
entirely true, but they needed, but the U.S. is the only one with the capability to drop those kinds of bombs. Israel doesn't have them, they don't have the B-2s. For years, they've been asking for them, and the U.S. won't sell them to anyone. I mean, that's something we have only, and the U.S. had to do that. But if you're asking what happened in the week prior, it was kind of like, you know, and this was orchestrated between the two countries like a perfect ballet. I mean, they went in and took out the ability to even go after the U.S. When we came in. There was no air defense there. They took out their radar systems. They took out all of their defense systems. They went in. They even took out their media, the ability to report it. They surgically went in and destroyed them prior to our strikes. I mean, it's kind of like historical. It's like something you'd see in like in a movie. It's,
A Call of Duty game on some
Yeah.
shit.
Did you say they killed Iranian kids? I thought they were mainly striking.
no,
like,
maybe the
specific
family
targets.
of
I
like
don't
there
think
might
they
have been
killed. I
collateral.
don't think they killed any citizens. That's why it didn't strike you wings eye as something that was kind of crazy. Because
Inevitably, there was going to be innocent people. That's always going to happen.
Yeah, but I don't think they killed any innocent people. It was straight nuclear sites that got attacked, and I guess
They would have had
the media
to. I
rooms.
saw they used car bombs even to take out homes that some of these people were living in.
Yeah, there was some
Yeah,
collateral, but very little. It's like the U.S. killed Bin Laden's kids. You know, well, we got Bin Laden. Like that's just going to happen. It was collateral.
His children were adults at that time. They were older. And,
Right.
Well, the son had an AK-47 in his hand. When he
I didn't know that. Really?
Yes.
yeah, and one of his sons to take up the mantle afterwards was killed later on as well.
Did you see the TikTok video of the SEAL that went in there? He was giving the interview about what happened. The one that actually killed Bin Laden. I think he had saved Bin Laden's little son. I think he was like 2 at the time. He's like 2 years old, and he was like he hurt him the fact that his son had to see this happen because he didn't have shit to do with it. And he was like, that's the one that they saved, the little one, the 2-year-old.
He did an interview yesterday. He got a whole lot of shit, or people were mad at him. But his name's Robert O'Neill. I follow him, but he had said like, why is Israel involved in every war we're in? And then he said when he was in SEAL Team 6, he said that they had to lock up all their shit because the Israelis were always stealing their stuff. And then he was like questioned about it, and he said, this is truth. And a lot of people were upset about his comment.
Listen,
Israel is giving real
He's the guy who shot Osama.
Is it confirmed that the nuclear sites were destroyed?
Yes,
The estimates people are by the CIA are that we set back their nuclear program by years.
And this is not the government lying to us again, or this
It's also it comes out of not only the U.S. but the Israeli military reports and intelligence that both countries are saying Israel wouldn't have a reason to not want it completely destroyed because they were like right in the target range first. So it wouldn't be in their best interest to leave one speck of it. But the centrifuges are gone. So even if they have uranium, in order to enrich it and to go through the process, that's what's destroyed.
Yeah, the satellite images that they've released show that we struck the entrances, exits, and then the cooling systems. But any uranium that they do have is going to be going wild under the ground right now anyway.
I thought they were taking most of the enriched uranium out. Like they knew it was.
They might have taken some of it out, but that's the enrichment site is the point. That's where they were enriching it at, so they can't continue to do so.
listen, guys.
Without the cooling system is critical to that process.
The West was talking about. Listen, the West was talking about bombing those sites for 30 years. If you're not dumb, you would move everything that you have there, and they did it. I don't believe that.
Everything the idea was to send the Iranian nuclear program back years, which we actually did.
I don't believe
Yeah,
that.
just having uranium doesn't mean anything. You have to enrich it to 90% to make it weapons grade. And it's only in that facility they had the option.
I believe if you work on something, you will move it.
The UN itself, like a lot of foreign countries, the UK, France, Italy, they have all tried to get answers on Iran's nuclear capabilities, but Iran never gave anything out. That's hence why Israel had did what they did to go in there and do what they did. You feel what I'm saying? That's what started everything, bro. You gotta go back and do your research and look back to see what actually started it all.
No, if you were Iran, would you keep your valuable stuff in the places that the entire world knows about?
That's not the way. In order to have the centrifuges, you have to enrich the uranium.
When you have
You can do it in different places.
Believable after the initial strike that the Iranians would have pulled what was left out and taken it to another place. Again, you're missing the point. The idea of the U.S. dropping bunker busters was not to utterly obliterate the Iranian nuclear program. It was to, much like Stuxnet, set it back years, which it did. That does not detract from what you just said, which is the Iranians may have gone in and then taken the rest of the uranium out and hid it in a mountain. Here's the thing. If you're hiding a stockpile of uranium in a mountain, it's not being centrifuged, which means your nuclear program is effectively set back, which is the entire point of what the fucking first place.
Marsh, so why do you think they did move their stuff 10 years ago? They anticipated, they knew you're gonna hit these places, they moved it 10 years ago.
The goal was not to hit the uranium, the goal was to hit the enrichment site.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if there was no uranium there at all. The enrichment site was the goal to destroy. That was the only place they can enrich the uranium to make a weapons grade.
I think the gentleman is saying they could have another enrichment site, like another one somewhere else.
We have massive equipment in the sky. We have monitoring all process on the ground. There's no way they could.
You have to think about this. So you have Israel that's there. They know intimately where everybody lives. That's why they were able to bomb them. They've done some, assassinations. You think that this is not something that was going to be known to the
IRGC has announced they arrested 700 Israeli spies inside their country. 700 Israeli spies.
The nuclear sites were CIA confirmed, bro. So you gotta understand this. Before anything Donald Trump does anything, the president does anything, the legislation moves on, it has to be confirmed by our CIA. First of all, Central Intelligence is not going to pass off on
They confirmed weapons of mass
You gotta understand this. They're not gonna.
That was a group of international inspectors from the IAEA and a consideration from other American intelligence agencies that were not the CIA.
The Central Intelligence Agency is the only people that can sit there and tell Trump, hey, no, it's not the time to do that. Give it a second. Because they would have not let Trump go through with that if they did not know that the same
Trump has authority over them.
No, I'm saying no. Giving them the no, like they can tell him no. Hey, like no, bro. Like do not. He still can do it. He still can be a dumbass and shoot it. But if I was a president, you're listening to your Central Intelligence Agency that has spies implemented in the regimes in every place that we go into war with. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like why would you not listen to your help? You get what I'm saying?
The same group that let the sniper stay 200 feet away on the roof.
Wait, you're talking about
what?
You're instead of talking about the Iranian nuclear program, you're going to when Donald Trump got shot.
No, he's talking about CIA like they don't make mistakes.
Trump wasn't even the president.
Nobody ever.
When it comes to uranium enrichment, it's not hard to make a mistake. The cooling systems all have to go to the surface. There's massive amounts of water that's used. I mean, it's impossible for them to hide something underground like this. We cannot even hide it. As the United States, we cannot hide uranium enrichment, so there's no way Iran.
And then you have to have a pump system that leads into the places to put all the fucking water into the cooling systems to keep the fucking uranium cool. Because if you're mixing atoms and you're mixing ions together, you have to have a cooling system in place, or that's just gonna blow up in your fucking face. You get what I'm saying? That's just simple fucking. That's just that's common sense, man.
Exactly. So water's important.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Okay.
So let's be next to the water system.
You guys also know the intelligence system, what you just said about Mossad, and they had a drone factory. They were actually building drones inside of Iran, the Mossad. They were embedded within that system, probably to the level of where the scientists were. But the intel on the ground was substantial, very substantial.
Yes, thousands of members infiltrated.
Thousands, yes.
No, it's all I understand, but I think in a couple years Iran will declare that they have a nuclear weapon and we're gonna deal with them as a nuclear power.
It would be fool if Iran declared they have a nuclear weapon.
In a couple of years,
It's
bro.
not
In a couple of years, man.
Yeah, but it's not that hard. I mean, even I understand that Israel and America are coming after me. I'm not gonna keep all my stuff in a place that they know that I have. I'll move it.
But you gotta understand, this wasn't an attack that was seen coming. This was a
This
attack that
was
was
for
secretive.
many years. They seen that it's coming. Everyone knew about those sites. Everyone knew.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand. It was fear being implemented with if an attack was placed on Iran, the fear of dealing with Russia and China was implemented in propaganda. That's why people say, "Oh, we have to deal with Russia. Oh, we have to deal with China." Why the fuck do you think when we bombed Iran and we fucking flew back, there was nothing heard of from China, nothing heard of from Russia? Because they realized they're scared themselves because they realized their fucking defense systems that they implemented in Iran just failed y'all. Just really
But
failed
the
y'all. So now
Iran
they're like, okay, what
power
the
is
fuck?
not on nuclear. The main power of those people are guerrilla war. If you put your boots on the ground, that's a disaster.
But
By
we don't have
rockets,
a
you
problem
cannot.
with- we don't have a
Which we're
problem
not
with-
gonna fucking do. Nobody
don't have a
in the
problem.
United
Yeah,
States
that's why you cannot defeat the regime.
No one in the United States, not the fucking Congress, not the Senate, not the President, not the people, want to put troops on the ground. Dropping bunker bunkers and demonstrating that we can violate the air defense systems with impunity sends the exact message we wanted to send. The idea that you would then send the agents to
Therefore, it's not effective. It won't be effective.
Iran? You're talking about Iran, Marshall? With all the mountains? How you gonna?
Yeah, look, I don't think we're going to deploy troops.
We just did bomb
We just fucking did it. We just did it.
The Air Force was able to violate their
Where's General
airspace.
Soleimani at? Where's he at today?
My argument was that they were able to violate the airspace They were able to use 125 aircrafts across 5 different commands and nearly 2/3 of the globe. No, I do not believe they're going to send troops down in the middle of Iran. It's insane.
Iran.
Kiko, listen here, bro. Kiko. We just flew 7 B2B2s to motherfucking Iran.
Bro, that's
We said,
what did in
no. Listen to me,
Kiko, why do you think that we can't bomb a mountainous region? What do you think is the problem with the mountainous region to bomb?
Kiko, I'll say you this,
One at a time. One at a time.
Kiko, listen.
Speak. Let Papa speak. Let Papa speak.
Kiko, listen. First of all, my bad, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's really hard. It makes the listening experience really hard. Everybody's talking over each other, so just one at a time, guys.
Yep, I'm gonna hit you with this, Kiko. The plan, they sent 2 B-2 bombers to distract Iran's eyes, right? So y'all see, they seen that like, oh yeah, that's an attack from this side. Okay, they went fucking west. Oh yeah, that's an attack. Okay, here's a surprise, motherfucker. It's 7 B-2 bombers that's coming to bomb the shit out of all your heavily guarded nuclear facilities with your uranium in there. Which one you think is gonna be harder to bomb? The nuclear facilities or the fucking country? The nuclear facilities. That's wide open up. Shit that's not wide open to the public, bro. You gotta understand, it wasn't open to the public eye, gang. So listen to me, hear me out, Nico. Russia cannot fucking do this. These are Russian and China systems, bro.
Listen to me. Russia tried to invade Afghanistan and they lost.
Hold on, Kiko. They bombed them, gang, and you're not understanding what the point is. They bombed them, flew back within 13 hours without nobody knowing shit until President Trump said, hey, in his fucking declaration of speech, hey, yeah, we just bombed Iran. They're like,